here.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back to Unfiltered Unspoken. You like that intro, didn't you?
I did.
Welcome back to Unfiltered Unspoken podcast, where we told you we are going to continue to share life experiences. But guess what? We are virtual in Johannesburg, South Africa, baby. Let me tell
Yay.
you. Yes. See, we have hit another country. So this is beautiful, 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 beautiful. Sorry, I'm getting back on track. We want to welcome Khosi. What time is it where you're at right now?
It is 1:04 a.m.
1:04 a.m. and for us it's 7:04 p.m. So you see the difference. So we want to thank you, and it's the next day for you too.
Yes.
Yes. If you could come up and introduce yourself, and then City Sid is going to kick off that first question.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. My name is Khosi Nkanyezi Buthelezi, and my middle name means star, which has driven me to always show up and shine in my authentic self, or as my authentic self. I am 44 years old and I live in Johannesburg, South Africa. I am a woman who's living with Hirsutism and learning to love myself and shake off the shame every single day. And I do it for me and all the young girls that look up to me or who are very similar to what I'm going through.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again for being here with us, especially so late. I would be tired, so we do appreciate you. Excuse me. As we do with all of our guests, we like to start off at the beginning of your story with childhood, your adolescent years, what you went through at that time, if you went through anything at that time. So tell us a little bit about growing up, your home structure, where you grew up, kind of the culture, in South Africa.
I grew up in Soweto, in Joburg, that is the southern townships. And I think in America, it's what they would call a hood. And in a happy, joyful family, I was raised by my mother as well as my uncle and aunt. My actual biological father was not present in my life growing up, and I had a stepdad that took me in as part of the family. And actually, I have like 3 different families now. And I think when people think about Hirsutism, they think, "Oh, the childhood must have been terrible." But growing up, I was just a hairy little girl who was joyful, fun, and loved dancing. And I wish I could sing, but not at all. Though the downside of it was that being hairy meant that you have all this unsolicited attention from older men, because for some reason men are fascinated by hair. But it was just adjusting while life was just as great as any childhood can be.
Okay. So I guess I want to start. You grew up in the hood.
Yeah, still there.
Okay. I love it. I love it. So I wanted to ask, did it affect you that your biological father wasn't there?
I don't think you notice it. You'll see it in the type of relationships that you attract when you're older. You'll see it as you reflect on the many. So we grow up in a space where it's not just, and I think it's a Black thing or an African thing that you're raised by the village. So you see how you resonated with families where there was present dads, and I like those type of friends visiting those types of homes where it felt like the family unit is complete. But I actually didn't realize the impact of not having my biological father in my space until I was older. And we reunited in my late 20s, and up until his death, we were actually close. So I would say I reflect on it and it feels sad a bit, but it was a space that my stepdad came into, and he showed up for me.
Now, was your condition something that you were familiar with? Like, is it something hereditary that you might have seen other family members with, or if it's just something that's culturally kind of normal? Like for us, I've known plenty of family members and friends and people that were born with a sixth finger. It's pretty normal to us, but it is kind of off-putting. So what was it? What kind of, I guess, what was the temperature around having the condition, or was it seen as weird or, just troublesome in general?
Um, if I look at how I look now, it came up gradually, so it wasn't something that was totally present in my childhood, and luckily, by the time the hair occurred, I was getting into knowing my dad and understanding that I inherited the hair from his side of the family. So his older sister looked exactly like I do with the full beard. And I got to learn this as I was discovering and learning and researching more about why do I now have a full beard. But it started off as a mustache in my late teens to early 20s, and then I had a few strands on my chin. I actually went through the whole hair removal routine, from your razors to your waxing to laser treatment. And actually, the laser treatment kind of worked for about 2 years, and then the hair just grew back into a full beard. And when I was embracing the hair, then I realized, oh, there's actually not just the men in the family, but I had an aunt that looked like me and many other aunts, and most of them are cutting it. So I never realized they were there until we had to sit and talk about it.
And I was going to ask, since you mentioned it, have you ever tried to cut your a beard like your other aunts do? And if so, how long did it last?
The mustache would last, say, a week, 2 weeks, every time I would cut it off, because I usually use the razor, and the mustache wasn't so bad. So by the time I had the few strands, I had started in corporate. So I was working for a financial institution and I was a facilitator. So being in front of people means that you need to look presentable, and I'm not one to wear makeup, so I had to make up for the look, and there was a bit of pressure for women, because women are discouraged to keep hair. So I had all these suggestions to say go wax, and I did that. And from the waxing, I was encouraged to do the laser treatment with some reassurance that it would disappear for good. And as I mentioned earlier, 2 years went by and I thought, oh, I finally got this, and I don't have to go waste money and go through pain every month. Guess what? Here we are.
Now, what was the age of which you actually started seeing the facial hair come in, and then can you recall maybe just how you were feeling about it, like what your mind frame was at that time, as this was new to you?
I think I could say it was new and not. It was not because I've always had hair on my body. So hair was not a strange thing. And um, the thing that I went through most was, I would say, anxiety around the times where I would have to go do the treatments, because waxing and laser are both painful and they're costly. So it was more like a financial impact and the pain threshold type of impact where I'd have to do that. And this was late 20s to about 34. And it was mainly doing it to appease my manager so that I look presentable in at work. But it wasn't something that I felt like ashamed of, or I need to cut my hair. I needed to do it for work. And by 36, I grew tired of it, because when the hair came back, I gave up on laser, I gave up on waxing, and I started using razor. So what I hated the most was when you would have the ingrowns and the itchiness and the dark pigmentation, because that happens when you shave often. So by the time I left corporate and I didn't have to shave anymore, it felt like relief.
And I was going to ask, you said you appeased your manager, so that's why you kept shaving. Do you regret pleasing him? And do you feel as though it was forced?
And I won't blame the manager. It's a she, by the way, and I don't blame the manager, because it's a societal thing. It's a beauty industry thing. We are sold one thing or another. I think from the razor to the waxing, even the laser treatment, it is all part of the marketing gimmick. This is the next best thing, because what it doesn't do is look into what is the actual root cause of your condition, because there's many causes for hirsutism. And I had to fit in, and I regret doing that, because even when I started with the razor, my aunts would tell me, don't shave it, it will grow more. And I figured, old people and superstitions and their myths, it's just hair, I can remove it. But what you don't pay attention to is the fact that any body hair grows back. If the hair on your head, it doesn't stop growing, however many times you shave it, what makes you think the facial hair will? And I guess for some people it works, but for me, because it was genetic, it was bound to come back anyway. And I had to make peace and embrace it, and kind of redefine myself with the hair.
And how exactly was that? How do you feel? Kind of like you found your way, around the condition, when you became comfortable. What were some of the things that you changed about yourself just to kind of, let it go, let it be, and present as you are?
It was a beautiful experience and a journey in retrospect, but at the time it was hard. It was hard because, as women, because we are sold all these things that make us look better, whether it is makeup, whether it is looking slimmer, have a big butt and have abs, and so you have so much pressure around your look and your body, and looking at the beauty standards that are set out there, that having hair was just another extra thing to deal with, another extra thing to show up as a woman. And it took a lot of retreats. It took coaching, life coaching. It took what could be termed therapy, even though it was not official therapy. It took a lot of body talk for me to just not embrace the hair, but embrace femininity, relook what femininity means to me. and get to see and appreciate the people that are around me, that support me, that don't question how I look. Like, they help me build strength to strength, so that as I face people now and I'm on social media, I have grown such thick skin that not much phases me, unless I'm really in a bad mood and people trigger me. But otherwise, it doesn't really bother me that people give me stirs or funny looks or say nasty things because I look the way I do.
And I wanted to piggyback off of that. At any point, did it bother you when you were, before you got to where you are? And if it did, how did that make you feel? Because that's a form of bullying, and some people just don't understand the impact of being bullied.
I think what hurt the most was someone who thinks that they have, or they are entitled to tell you how to look and what to do. And I'd lived, say, 3 to 4 years with the hair before joining TikTok, for example. And in joining TikTok, it's the kind of environment where people like trending because of nasty comments, right? And you find people commenting. So what irritated me, and it felt like bullying, was someone who will just walk on, not knowing your journey, not knowing where you've been, what you've done to try and remove the hair, or why you letting it be there. Feel like they need to diagnose you online without being a doctor. Even if someone has had the experience or have seen something, or they can Google any solution, they feel like they can just impose it on you. So that is the type of bullying that has just been an irritation in my life. Like, hold on, can you let me be? So that has been the journey of resisting and accepting rejection. I think one of the lessons I've learned in this journey was how to embrace rejection. It sounds funny, but if you're going to live in your true form, you gotta embrace rejection.
How, especially growing up, kind of like your teenage years, early adulthood, what was your journey like, with dating or having crushes and things like that? Were men being men with the stigma that they have about certain things, or did you find it easy? Did you find some men with emotional intelligence? Like, how was that for you?
I've been lucky that I haven't experienced men that reject me in terms of a relationship because of my beard. And that would be my beard having had the full beard in like the past 8 years, right? In the teenage years, I was just a hairy girl, so I had sideburns and then the rest of my body. So it wasn't something that attracted a lot of attention or drama in terms of relationships, because I was just like any other hairy girl. It would be the difference between the older guys that are fascinated by hair. Actually, the fact that men have a hair fetish is just beyond me, and it's something I'm discovering later in my dating life. Like, now I kind of need to filter the people that are there to get to know Khosi, or the guys that are just there because they're fascinated by the hair, or they're fascinated by this woman that seems to be popular and viral. So the difficulty is more now than it was in my teenage years, because in my teenage years I was just a normal girl. Oh, and I have lots of crushes. I crush every day. I crush on cute boys. I crush on handsome men. um, I don't think I've allowed the hair to limit how I socialize in general, never mind in relationships. However, I do need to be able to discern if someone is there because they want to get to know me, or they want to be around a woman with hair.
Okay. And I was going to ask, do the doctors have a cure for and can you say the name of it again?
It's Hirsutism.
Has autism. Okay. Is there a cure, or is there something that helps thin the hair?
If I said there isn't a cure, trust me, your comment section will be filled with all the ones that are going to fight me on this. And I can only say it from a personal experience because there's many root causes to Hirsutism. So there are women with PCOS, and the women with PCOS would suffer from other symptoms other than the hair itself, and they would have to treat the PCOS first and then find other means to get rid of the hair. There's women that have hormonal imbalance and they also need to do it. So what I would say is I think the cure is inside out. Now, the difference with me, with the journey that I've taken in terms of removing the hair and where I am now, is then having gone through the tests and realizing that it's not because it's not hormonal imbalance, it is genetic. So it's been in my family, in the females in my family for generations. It's like I can't run away from it. So by the time I think I was 36 or 37, I stopped looking for solutions. And possibly it's that I did laser before the full beard, because I did my laser almost 10 years ago. So other people will say it's improved now, it can remove the hair and you should try it again. But I actually am not invested or interested in trying again. I love how I look, and I can get rid of it when I want to, and I can let it grow out. I'm not rejecting who I am to the point of trying to find a solution.
Understood.
Love it. Love it.
Understood. Because just dealing with normal, body hair is already enough, and I can almost imagine. Um, what have you found? Even though you said sometimes you get kind of negative feedback and crazy comments and things like that on TikTok. Is that where you've also maybe like sought solace, or does it bring you peace, as in having kind of like a journal diary in a sense? Or what ways have you found to be a good outlet, or what places have you found community and good support systems based around your condition?
Firstly, it would be my family. I have a brother. I have a very supportive mother. I have wonderful sisters and cousins. I have an extended family that has allowed me to be, and it helped me when I walk outside this gate and walking through the mall. I'm able to just walk proudly. And it was social media like TikTok, for example, where I was first diagnosed online. And I got to know this word, hirsutism, because I didn't know it before. I just knew that I have hair and I'm a hairy girl. I didn't know that it was a medical condition. Even though I'd done the tests, I've done my research, but I didn't know, because we as humans love labeling everything. So it got me to learn about that. But prior to even learning that I had hirsutism, I knew I had hair. I am part of feminine groups that look at just relooking what a woman means, the type of groups that gets, because we also, a lot of women end up hating even their periods. Let's not even talk about facial hair. Some women just hate the fact that every month they bleed. And part of the things we talk about and get to love about ourselves is all things feminine, about the fact that you have hips, about the fact that you have hormones, about the fact that you PMS, about the fact that you get irritable. So I've had those groups in my life, and because I also do a bit of life coaching, and I've done a lot of healing for myself and as a healer that is initiated. So I've done programs where I talk about self-love. And I think for me, the most physical manifestation of my journey of self-love, and in partaking in helping other women get to self-love. I have this badge that supports this journey. So I do have a lot of people that are with me. I've met a lot of other women who also showed me that I'm not unique. There is white women with hair, there is women across Africa with hair. I have friends that are in Canada that I'm in a group with every month, and it's hairy ladies. So it's just beautiful to meet with them every month and talk about challenges and encourage each other to live out loudly.
Is the my go said? Okay. All right. And just to ask, I'm going to piggyback. I had another question, but since you mentioned that, let me piggyback and I'll come back to the other one. So, what challenges do you find that do you still find now with your journey of hesitancy?
I think it's amazing that I've been on social media, for example, for the past 5 years, and I'll always go back to TikTok because it's my most active space, and it's the space where I've had the most negative comments as well as positive ones. So um, it's it it's almost like every day I get shocked at times where I see people that have never seen a woman with a beard. Um, and then see how they react, and I almost have to remind myself that it has nothing to do with me, and part of the challenge is just your mental health and your mental wellness, to not be so affected by what people say, and there are trolls. Social media is full of trolls, and it comes in phases and it trends, and people just like the idea of my comment has the many likes, and I've started a trend, and I also do I host a radio show and I simulcast on TikTok. So there are times where I'm there for the music, for the people, and I'm enjoying myself, and then the comment will come up to say sis, or ah man, just kill yourself, and there's no way as a human that you're not going to get affected by it. So those are the type of challenges. I've had a comment where a person said, if you embracing this funny hair and you look like a monkey, you might as well embrace a bullet in your mouth. And I'm thinking, how hateful would a person be about how another human looks like? And it's those daily challenges. You can't just say I've healed or I'm now good. Um, you find sometimes it hurts.
That is harsh. That is beyond harsh.
It is.
I don't I don't understand. That, most things, if I don't like, I just kind of keep it pushing, unless it's some like injustice, I just have to say something about. But other than that, that's insane. And
Yeah, but you're beautiful. She's beautiful.
Thank you.
absolutely that. Um, are you or have you been in any travel outside of South Africa, and what were the perceptions of you, in just different spaces, or has it prevented you from wanting to be out and about? How has that affected that part of your life?
I love traveling. I love seeing the world, and I haven't done much traveling now when I've had the full beard. I've traveled a lot, so my work would make me travel. And I've traveled across South Africa. I've been to some countries in Africa. I've been to Europe. I've been to Thailand and Indonesia. So I do travel, and people do still look at you, but most of the time people are fascinated and they want to ask questions. I think the last time I was at the Portuguese island, and I had this young girl, because we were hanging around the island, and she had all these questions about how I look, do I want to get married, what type of husband do I want? And girls are very gentle. Like they'll be fascinated. They'll ask you probably once why you look the way you do, but there's something about kids that connects to you as a human more than just how you look, right? It might fascinate them or it might scare them, and they'll ask because they're curious. However, then the rest of the time, they're quite easy. It's the parents actually that get embarrassed whenever the kids come up to me because they don't know how to hide. They feel ashamed of what the kids are asking. But the thing is, if you are also having the same reaction, if you were to have a conversation with me, I can talk about it. Just don't decide to feel disgusted or ashamed on my behalf because there's really no need. So the last couple of countries I've traveled to, I haven't really had negative reactions. It's just curiosity.
Have you ever encountered, I guess, I don't want to say an uncomfortable situation?
I have. I have. I was at the mall the one time, and this guy was walking in front of me. For some reason, he turned around and he couldn't hide the shock on his face, right? And I thought, okay, this is where it's going to end. Guess what? He took out his phone and acted like he's taking a selfie. But I don't know how stupid this guy would be because I could see my face right on the screen as he's trying to pretend like he's taking a selfie. Meanwhile, he's recording me. Um, I've had situations where I bump into posts on Facebook where someone took my pictures and it's a group and they're having a whole long discussion about me and luckily one of my friends was in the group so they told me about it. I've had people that I knew before I had the beard that look at me and I don't know for some reason has my face changed just because there's hair at the tip of my face and they would act like I've never seen your face before. So some of it is like awkward funny and some of it is awkward like gosh, please. Yeah.
That's terrible. That is like I don't understand where people get off with certain things, but I'm sorry you had to experience that.
Yeah,
Um
I know that camera thing just
yeah,
probably,
like, just
oh,
weird. Like that is insane.
yeah. Wow.
Insane.
In total invasion, but yeah, I'm a freak show. So, oh yes, once I was on a cruise and someone asked me if I know the movie The Greatest. I think it's well, what's that movie with Hugh Jackman? The Greatest Showman or something like that. Because there's a woman there with a beard on this at she's part of the circus crew. So yeah, I suppose I look like I belong in the circus as well.
That was not nice. I've seen that movie. That was not nice.
At
Girl,
all.
like it just ain't unoriginal for one. Like like it don't even be funny. I'm like, if you don't do it, like let it be. A joke, a fun something. A joke is where we both laugh. If one of us is laughing, what are we talking about? That is just
True.
that's insane. I don't like bullying. I really don't. So that kind of grinds my gears. But you did mention you are into a lot of helping women through things like this or same condition. What exactly are you working on, or what are you a part of that does kind of alleviate stigmas and things like that with this condition, and how are you getting through to people dealing with this condition?
I think the first part of being there for women and helping them out is in me showing up and in just posting daily funny things, whether I am lip syncing something, a song, just doing a video that shows my full face. I've done videos where I'm combing my beard, and I've had women that either on the comment section or DM me to say, I also have a beard. Thank you for making me feel like I'm not a freak. In terms of the condition itself, that is already the healing that I provide. I have young girls that will ask me questions. I have the opportunity in those monthly meetings where we talk about encouraging things. So we'll talk about what's your win for the week or the month, and just those words are encouraging as well. But I also have a lot of women who don't particularly have Hirsutism, but who just have low self-esteem, for example, or that are just struggling with love. So there was a group that I used to run on Facebook, and we did a 60 days challenge. So I created a program for young ladies on just giving them daily challenges to get to love themselves better. It was about 4 years ago, and I've seen them blossoming, and I've seen them become. They used to be shy. Some wouldn't even want to post a video, but watching someone now getting into a radio station, for example, showing up, going to the gym, taking pictures of themselves. Some people are just shy, camera shy. They don't want to be seen. They want to hide. But watching women do that, I've seen other women who are now also offering help and doing what I used to do, offering programs and doing videos that are motivating. So for me, that is the gift, and it's a beautiful gift out of my journey to watch other women blossom.
I was going to ask, do you have kids?
Not by choice, I don't. But I'm an aunt to three beautiful ones. My brother has an 18-year-old son and twin girls that are 4. They're turning 5 in September. So they are my whole world. I normally just joke that all the kids I wanted, and they turn out to look like me. I wished for, and my brother gave birth to them. And we can give them back to the parents.
Okay. I was going to ask a question if you were going to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we can. I want to ask. I want to go back to the laser surgery really quick, and just to talk about, because you said it was painful. Can you tell us the process of that and how it led to the being uncomfortable?
When I got exposed to laser, the one influencer that was doing laser at that time was Kimora, the model Kimora. And Kimora Simmons, I don't know if she's changed her surname many times with the many marriages, but I remember watching it and her jumping on that bed and screaming, and I thought, this looks painful. But when the marketing happens, they tell you, no, it's pain free, it's easy, and first of all, it gives those red laser beams, and it's actually like heat and zaps your skin, right? So you need to sit through those minutes, and yes, it's not a lot of minutes, but people have different thresholds for pain. So for me, it was painful, and I had to do 10 sessions of that. And at least the lady that used to do my laser treatment got used to how I react to it. So she found a way around it. But there was one part where I wasn't going to be around for my next appointment. And I was in another province at the time, or another state in terms of how America is. And I had to find another salon to do that. And the experience I had there, because they would put gel, and then they would move the machine around your chin, and then they would make sure that they cool off the skin. But for some reason, I think she did it without putting on the gel. So I came out there and my skin was smelling. So not only was the hair bent, but my skin was bent as well. So that for me was the horror. And it was such a horrific experience that I hesitated for like a month before I went for my 10th session. And luckily, yes, the hair went away and I was smooth as a baby bottom, as they would say. However, the hair grew back. So it is painful. It is expensive. I'm not even sure what the expense is now because it was expensive back then. But it is in my threshold pain.
Well, so I assume your condition does have something to do, with hormone imbalances, things of that nature. Is there anything else that, outside of the physical, does the condition affect, anything else as far as your health, or do you see any other symptoms, again, outside of the physical?
I'm fortunate that my root cause for my hirsutism is genetics. So I don't have other physical effects. And when I did my testing back then for hormonal imbalance, I didn't have it came back negative. So I didn't have issues with that either, because most women that have it, that either have hormonal imbalance and then they also have PCOS, or the hormonal imbalance causes the hair growth. Then once they balance their hormones, and other people will recommend peppermint tea and this cream and that. So it works for others. It has worked. And I don't want to say that there isn't. I would always recommend that get diagnosed, get to the root of it, and then get treated inside out for a person that is interested in getting treatment. I've gone through my share of it, and I'm not interested in doing it anymore. And it doesn't affect other parts of me. For me, literally, it is like someone saying growing hair on your head should be affecting your system or your body. I don't have any other issues.
Okay, and that you just answered my next question. I was going to ask that. I have another one. You said you went through some anxiety.
Yes.
Can you talk about that? Like, what led you up to going through anxiety, and how did you navigate through it?
I actually didn't navigate through it. The anxiety was around the time that I would have to do the laser because of the pain and just the whole feeling around it. And I think sometimes we do things on a physical and we don't realize the emotional scarring and the psychological scarring, because for me, the whole journey of hair removal was in a sense, rejecting of self. And every month, what became or showed up as a physical anxiety, and it was like my gut would clench, and it got so bad that I had ulcers. I had to be hospitalized a couple of times. I had to do gastroscopy, and they just, like every other month you go to the hospital because you have these pains on your stomach. I even got to a point of getting lactose intolerant because anything would just churn in my tummy. And I suppose, when people say there's actually, beyond just saying the words gut feel, there's actually a gut feel. I think for me, resisting my gut feel to say this is who I am came back or manifested as that disease. I had to go through then that pain of the ulcers, of being hospitalized because I kept rejecting myself. And when I started accepting, all of that is gone. I have a heartburn once in a while when I'm stressing, but it's not as bad as it was back then. I almost went into chronic treatment for ulcers, whereby it was just anxiety around self-rejection over and over every month.
And what kind of, I know previously in our conversation, you had some issues with how presenting yourself naturally would look to employers and things like that. Where did you kind of find your happy place as far as a career, or where, did all of the trials and tribulations and finding yourself and being able to present naturally, where did that help you end up as far as your career? And are you happy with what you're doing, or are you looking for a change as you still are changing and kind of developing your, self-esteem and self-love?
The facilitation was always something that I loved doing. I loved talking, and I loved coaching. So it was a great skills development space to be in corporate finance. And I then left corporate, and I decided to take a sabbatical, which helped because I spent a month in Bali just finding myself around there. And by the time I came back, I tapped into my love for reading, and with the skills transfer between the facilitation or the training and the coaching that I used to do, I used those skills to then get into editing. So I do book editing. And I started doing that freelance, and I still could do consultations on facilitation. I'm getting into certain projects that I work at, and I can show up as I am. So now when I have meetings, they know they're meeting Khosi the bearded girl. I've had opportunities that have come up because I look unique. I've had speaker functions. I've had to MC because I think there are people that see me beyond how I look. So I'm enjoying the type of work I do now because when I sit behind the laptop and edit, I don't have to worry about how I look. When I do MC jobs already, the people hiring me know how I look. When I do consultation, the firm that I consult with know how I look. So it has been a blessing to leave corporate because I get to do passion work now and still show up as I am.
I love it. And that's the beauty of being yourself.
Yes.
Oh God. Oh. I wanted to ask a question. I wanted to go back to you mentioned that anxiety causes ulcers. Can you tell the audience, because we try to be transparent,
Mm-hmm.
symptoms of having ulcers? And I know you said it was painful, but how the pain feels like, and where is it coming like from in the body area?
It literally felt like my throat was on fire at one point, and they would say, because as they were trying to figure out what's wrong with me, which I really just felt like they couldn't get it right. But one of the diagnoses I got was saying that I have sores at the top of my stomach. So there'd be time where I couldn't even eat. So now I avoid spicy stuff. So it's literally that feeling of you trying to eat, but it's painful to swallow the food. So it was one of the symptoms. And if the food does get through the throat to the stomach, then you have the stomach churning, and it got to a point where I would have like hemorrhoids at times. And you have cramps, like sharp, painful cramps. And it feels like your stomach is just like retracting and folding. And that was like the worst pain ever. And part of the issues would be on top of the stomach cramping, then the most sacred time of the month, which is around your periods, then I would have period pains. Because for me, it almost felt like that battle of your gut telling you this is who you should be, you rejecting who you are, and almost questioning your femininity. So I always see things deeper than just this is the physical manifestation of it. I always think about, if my body is showing pain, what is it trying to highlight about my mental state, and where I am in terms of my psyche.
And all of the kind of emotional changes you've made, your steps in healing and things like that, were they done kind of on a self-education basis, or did you attend therapy regarding your anxiety and things like that? Because we do, sometimes know that the full-on kind of scientific medical route isn't for everybody. So if you
Yes.
had made those strides, in other ways, there are people that are watching that would like to help in more holistic ways. So tell us a little bit about your journey and how you did find coping mechanisms, and how you are able to heal.
I have, so my spiritual journey included having a spiritual family, I would call it. So I had sisterhood that looks into the causes, or what makes you uncomfortable, right, in your spirit. I have a friend that is a specialized kinesiologist, and it's almost like a body talk thing. So I've gone to a consulting person that does body talk. I've gone to people that do clearings, and that is energy clearing. I've gone to life coaches, which will talk about, goal setting, where is your mind, what are the blockages, what are the obstacles. So I look at alternative and new age healing formats, because I after going through the medical side of things and finding that I don't actually have any of the symptoms or the causes that need medical attention. I then needed to heal my spirit and heal my mind about things, change my mindset about things. So what a person will go to a therapist and sit on a couch for. I've laid on many beds. I've done Reiki clearings. So I'm that type of person. I do a lot of alternative healing, for myself, things that I've looked up, but also I've consulted women that do the same type of solutions.
Love it. Um, can I ask really quick? I don't know if you're comfortable, but I would love to show the audience. Can you turn your head this way and this way so everyone?
That way.
Okay. You turn your other
And that way.
way. Okay. So it starts here and then comes down.
I literally just say that my hair connects from there and goes all the way around.
Oh, so it starts from here.
Yeah,
Yeah, can I
because my
see?
hair keeps growing up and off. Like, this is my hairline, literally. And then
Oh,
it connects right to the end, and it keeps growing, because now it's like around here. I have like long strands now down to my neck.
okay. So it's getting it's coming down more. Okay.
Every
So,
day I discover new hair, a
oh
new
wow.
patch.
So your aunts, how are theirs fully covering, or is it the same?
I have two. One has passed away and the other one is alive. So she has patches, but it's not like a full set like I do. So the one that literally looked like me has passed on. And then the others, it's just like they'd have it here or just on the tip of the chin.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Demetria, do you want to go into your final, and then we can switch it up?
Oh, sure. So we're almost at time.
okay.
Wonderful episode. Wonderful, wonderful. Look, we got Africa, and we got a new condition I never knew about. So this is very educational as well.
Thank
So
you.
thank you so much. We appreciate it. But can you tell the audience, can you give someone advice that's going through hesitism? Did I say that right? Okay.
Yes.
That's going through hesitism, to keep their confidence up, to navigate through it'll be changes, like something that helped you navigate through living with hesitism.
Um, One, it is the most simplest advice, and yet it is the most challenging to live up to. Love yourself is what I will say. Love every part, every bit of you, because when you do, you don't get easily swayed if anything happens to your body. You could say you love yourself today and wake up tomorrow and your boobs are droopy. You could say you love yourself and wake up tomorrow and you have a pouch on your stomach and it's not a six pack and you don't have the tiny waist. You could, you might not have the perfect legs. So every part of your body, there are I think few people that can say they're happy with their body overall. So someone might be struggling with how their legs look. Someone might be struggling with how their tummy looks. Someone might be struggling with their chubby cheeks. Don't let hair on your face be the reason you hate yourself. So it goes back to say, simply put, love yourself. So it will require you to wake up every day and affirm it. It will require you to know that it's okay for people to reject you. Not everyone will always love you. They might not even love you without hair on your face. So if you come already in the bubble of love, it takes a lot to burst it.
Beautiful, beautiful. And thank you again for joining us this evening or this early morning for you.
Yeah.
If you can, we do like to give you the opportunity to participate in Shameless Plug. This is where we give you a moment to, share what is important to you. Let our viewers know how they can contact or reach out if there's any, pieces of advice they need or resources, anything that you want to draw traffic to, any merch you might have for sale. Just anything you would like to sell yourself, you have the floor.
Wonderful. I'm a book editor. So first of all, any independent writers and authors, if you're looking for someone to edit your book wherever you are in the world, and all it takes is you sending me a manuscript. We talk about the price, we get it done. So I love, love, love words, and I love working with authors to make their story come to life. And the beauty of this journey and having all these bearded women behind me got me to create this t-shirt. So I have these t-shirts and sweaters. Unfortunately, I haven't figured out a way to sell them across the country or outside the country. I can send them around South Africa, that is. So, yes, I have the t-shirt with my face and it states your favorite bearded star. And if you are into music, I'm a radio host and I host a drive time show 3 to 6 p.m. South African time. And you'll find us on Zeno FM app and we are called Roaming Radio 24/7.
You're on mute.
We want to thank you so much, Khosi, for
Oh,
being a guest on Unfiltered Unspoken podcast. And thank you. It's 2:00 where you're at.
yeah.
So we want to get you off of here. We want to thank you for tuning into Unfiltered Unspoken podcast. Just to let you know, to continue your confidence that people do go through things and we are all different.
Yes.
Khosi has just shared a testimony. You see, she's a female, full bearded. She represents, she loves herself, and she wouldn't change. So if all of us build confidence where we're not going by being judged by others, we will succeed. We will
Thank
definitely
you.
succeed. And you continue to spread the message. Khosi is just one. I've seen her life experience on IG. I reached out to her and she was like, sure. So she definitely responds to people that are reaching out to her. So do not hesitate to reach out to her. She will be tagged to the episode. And thank you for tuning into Unfiltered Unspoken podcast. We're going to continue to share life experiences. Ain't that right, Sid?
That's right.
Okay. Thank y'all. You have a blessed night. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube, Unfiltered Unspoken podcast. And if you want to support our cause, Cash App us at The Good Fight, TheGoodFight, each and every Monday at 8 p.m. ET on YouTube. We are running. We got this said. Y'all have a blessed night. Peace.
Have an absolutely amazing evening. Thank you for inviting me. It was a beautiful conversation.
Yes, it was a pleasure. Hold tight, Khosi.